Hey, wrestling fans out there, it's Brendan Devine, the ace of MPW, and you are tuned in to the CCP podcast.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live right here on Twitch. I am Chris Page. That is my partner in crime, Mr. Toddy Tabar Ramsey. Mr. Ramsey, it is a Tuesday night. It seems like these Tuesday nights are turning into Tuesday night delights just about every week with these Beyond the Bells. How the hell are you?
The road to retirement continues. I am very happy, and today was a good day. But what I'm really excited about is the guest that we have that's going to be on here tonight. Someone that I've been watching for quite a while, and I'm really excited to get to pick his brain and talk about his body of work because I have been impressed. So, what more can you ask for?
Well, we can ask for a lot because I think you got a bone to pick with them too, but we'll get there at some point, I promise. Guys in chat,
We will.
welcome. We hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday night. I do want to go ahead and just tell you, just like any other show, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in chat. Keep them fucking appropriate. And if you do not, we'll have to show you the door. We will get them worked in, no problem. We'll work them in as we have our conversation here tonight. And truly, as we welcome in our guest today, we stumbled across this gentleman at House of Champions, and real quick and in a hurry, stood out off rip on one of the first shows. The presentation is there, and our guest is a guy that I've been waiting to sit down and talk to, just like you. He is the first, and when I say first, there can only be one first. The first HOC World's Heavyweight Champion. Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live, Mr. Berrako. How are you, sir?
Woo! I'm doing good, man. Doing good, man. I'm here.
Damn it, I missed it. I should have had the camera. If anybody, you don't know what we were talking about, that's a before we went on the air thing. How you doing, man? Happy Tuesday night to you, sir. Thank you for coming in and joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Been watching you guys for quite some time, and I'm excited.
I'm glad you're here. We've been quietly discussing getting you on the show for probably 2 months now, I'd say, and just scheduling with our channel and making everything happen. It's taken us a bit. I'm so glad that you're here because Toddy said there's so much to talk about with you, what you got going on, and everything in general. But before we get there, Toddy, why don't you go ahead and say hello to Mr. Berrako?
Welcome to the show. It is such an honor and a pleasure to sit down and talk to you. We've been watching you for quite a while, and you continue to just get better and better and better. And that's not something that you can say about everybody. So it is just such a privilege to have you here tonight. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. The honor's mine.
Well, let's get started. And I usually start these things at the top, and that's, everybody falls in love with professional wrestling at some point in time or another. It's all different, and this kind of sets the tone for the conversation. No pressure. When does that happen for you? When does professional wrestling intersect with you in your life, and what made you fall in love with it and gravitate towards it?
Man, I think about wrestling every day, on the clock, off the clock, in the gym, outside the gym. And for me, it all started back in 2005. I remember I was watching TV with my older brother, and he was flipping through channels, and we ended up watching the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 21. And I remember Triple H just being in the ring, and I love Triple H, man, but as a kid, you look at that big nose and you're just you're like, who is this guy? He's talking too much crap. What's he babbling about? I just remember the crowd chanting Batista. And then I'm me and my brother trying to figure out who is this guy? Who is this guy? And then we finally see him. And I just remember him coming out with the World's Heavyweight Championship, just jacked and tatted. And I'm just like, all right, I got to watch more of this. This guy looks like he's going to rip a ceiling off of a house. And then that's pretty much what just started it for me,
So
ever since that was my childhood favorite wrestler growing up, Batista.
when you say that you came in to see in Triple H, man, the first thing I think about is the Attitude Era when DX was feuding with the Nation of Domination and Jason Sensation came out, or he's talking about Owen Hart, and they were all the Nation was parodying DX, or DX was parodying the Nation. Sorry, and it was freaking hilarious. They really could push the envelope back then, but in your time, that feud with Batista to me is so criminally underrated as a world title program. You talk about the build behind it with Evolution. You go to the Rumble and Batista wins. The story, you get the thumbs up, the thumbs down. Mania, Backlash, that Hell in a Cell. They went all in on Batista in that story. All in by having Trips drop 3 straight to him. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Oh yeah, that was such an iconic thing that I remember just seeing that Hell in a Cell match, because like 2005 was like the year I started watching wrestling.
Mhm.
So when I saw Vengeance 2005 and like I just kept hearing about the Hell in a Cell, and I finally seen it at first, I'm like, you're gonna lock that large mammoth of a man in that cage with another large mammoth of a man? Like, like 8-year-old me was freaking out. I was like, something bad's about to happen. Like,
And it did. When you get it, through the fandom and stuff of that nature, like when you say you came into it in 2005, I was just getting ready to hang them up in 2005, 2006. That tells my age. It just is what it is. I'm an old fuck. I'm that get off my lawn guy. But at what point did you, and it could have been in high school, maybe it was after high school, I don't know. But when did you really start considering, like, okay, I want to try this. I want to see what I can do here, and I'm really gonna like put some thought and effort into it. Where were you at what point in your life was that, and how do you get started?
so I started watching wrestling in 2005 when I was 8 years old. It wasn't until 10 years later. I remember WrestleMania 31, the main event with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And I don't know, like that a lot of people kind of shit on that main event, but I look at it as like you really got to see the build of like who Roman Reigns really was. Like if he can get down with Lesnar, he can get down with anybody. And I don't know, it's just the fight that he gave in that match was just like, to me, was very inspirational, to where I was like, I want to get out in there and I want to do this. Like, that's like kind of when I had that already. Like, every child thinks I want to be a professional wrestler growing up, but then like other things happen in life. WrestleMania 31, that main event was like the switch. Like, okay, this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I really, really want to try this. And then after high school, finances and everything, trying to find a good school and everything, kind of hits you left and right. You always want to make sure you go to the right place. You want to make sure you're getting trained by the right people. Shout out to Jayla Heights. Jayla Heights, followed her on Instagram, and she put on her story when she started training at the Hawk. And then I looked up their website, and I was 26 years old. That was 2 years ago. And I looked up on their website. They had a free class, and I went in. And that same day, I remember doing the tryout class. I remember sitting down with Nick and Renee talking about the planning and everything like that. And I remember Coach K, and I still bring it up to Coach K now and then. He looked at me and he said, I got a feeling you're going to be here for a while. And then he walked out the room. And then that was kind of just something where I was like, it's now or never. So then I just put pen to paper, and then that's where my journey started.
Go ahead, Toddy. That's fantastic. But I know Toddy's going to have to follow up on it.
Well, yeah, because I can tell that you definitely took it seriously, because one of the things I do is the social media. You weren't always this size. You were significantly smaller. When you got to the Hawk, were you already bulking up? But you can definitely tell you took it seriously, because now, if you've never seen him in person, right? Like, seeing him on YouTube is one thing. When you see him in person, it's like, oh, okay. So tell me about that journey.
So growing up, I want to say about end of middle school, beginning of high school, I shot up like a rocket. So I got really tall, and I was always skinny. I didn't have a hard time putting weight on, but I was just always insecure about putting too much weight on. And I remember in 8th grade, when you get to select your electives for your first year in high school, and my first period teacher, her husband's twin brother was the weightlifting coach at the high school I was going to. So she asked for me because she didn't know if freshmen were allowed to do weightlifting. She thought I was just a sophomore and up. So he said, yeah, freshmen are more than welcome to come and do weightlifting. And then I remember just getting into the weight room and just seeing like the football players on the varsity team squatting and like bench pressing and like clean and jerks and everything. And then that was like the first time I remember stepping into a gym was in high school, the high school gym. And then the first time I actually stepped into an actual like Gold's gym, I was 17. That was back in 2014 of October. And it was just something I just fell in love with, you know? I've always watched wrestling and I've always admired I grew up in the ruthless aggression era. So those guys were like jacked, you're talking about guys like, John Cena, The Undertaker, Booker T, even though Eddie was still a short guy, God rest his soul, he was still very jacked. Chris Benoit, he was another phenomenal athlete. Like these guys were just jacked,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of always put that image in my head where I'm like, if you're gonna want to be a wrestler, and if I'm gonna want to walk around in public and tell people I'm a wrestler, might as well look the part,
Yeah, you have got no choice. Again,
Yeah.
like I said, people can always see through fake, and when you're just going through the motions, there are eyes that can tell, and you've got to always be ready. That's something that Cardona still says. You have to be ready at all times. Like with me specifically, I enjoy food, so
So do I, man. I'm Hispanic, bro. It's bad.
I like to eat. I used to be like I think I could find maybe one or two pictures. When you say you're like real thin, I was too. I was like pencil thin when I was growing up. And with me, like it was just I never was the most jacked guy by any means, but I wasn't trying to be. I was just the dickbag heel that could draw heat and get you to want to pay a ticket to watch me get my ass kicked, and that's about how it worked out. When you get into the HOC, so what we love about the HOC is how they really treat you guys, and what I mean by that is they genuinely care, and we have found that over the last 4, 5, 6 months. For your journey specifically, when you came in and you go through the first class, which is a lot, you're going through a lot of the roles, you're doing a lot of little small stuff here, little small stuff there. Coming out of that course and coming out of that class, you put pen to paper and you walked out that door. When you walk back in and you really, really are focused and honed in on it, what were some of the difficult things that you had to overcome? And in vice versa, on the other side of that question, what were some stuff that came naturally to you?
That's actually a really great question. One of the difficult things that I had going on was because I spent so many years lifting weights, and like I used to train at a bodybuilding style gym, so that's what I was constantly surrounded by. So I would always train with the bigger guys, and like their mobility was very good, but the type of unorthodox style you need to have when you step into a ring, I didn't find that out until I started wrestling in a ring. I didn't understand what they meant by that until I actually started training. I think it was the rolls at first. I started to pick up the front rolls, the left arm rolls, the back rolls, diving rolls. Everything started to come little by little naturally. Something about the right arm rolls where it was like I started to get a little tightness in my quads.
Working muscles
I
that you
wasn't
weren't
used
working.
to. Right. It was just something where I was just like, I had no idea, like my body was just like, it wasn't coping with what I was doing. It was like, hold on, buddy. Like, you're so used to picking up heavy stuff. Like, you don't roll around and do this,
I get it.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
like no, you're good. Another thing is, definitely the cardio, like I do a bunch of cardio at the gym, like I can do on the treadmill, I can do the Stairmaster, I could do the the cycle machine for 30, 40 minutes. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, for anybody who hasn't stepped in a wrestling ring and everybody who has, when you do that ring cardio, I give you about 5 to 10 minutes before you're blown up. Like,
If that,
like it's
if
something
that,
like,
if you've never stepped foot in a ring before, let me see you run 4 times. Let me just see that, and I guarantee you're going to be blown up. It's hilarious to me that you talk about cardio, because that was my deal. I wasn't a gym guy for the way I would go in and I did cardio. I could go 40 minutes, 45, an hour. But that's the only way that I was able to do that, because I sure as shit wasn't muscle. It was on the treadmill or running or doing something to keep that cardio up. And that is a pretty big deal. You're one of the first people, and you're probably episode 70 at this point, that has brought up the cardio aspect of it as a piece of stuff that you're honing in on. And that's, I like that. I truly like that, because that was my MO. Go ahead, Toddy.
So we know that there is a family dynamic down there, but one of the other things that really drew us in is they have you guys do a lot of different roles. We've seen people do commentary, we've seen people be on the cameras, we've seen security, like we've seen all of these different things. How many of those different roles were you in before you actually started wrestling on the student shows?
for me, I've done commentary, which I love. Um, I've done security. Um, that's usually kind of where they try to like range me around, just because there's always a lot of great athletes that go to the Hawk, but just because of my size and stature, they're like, it would be like somebody, if we put you on a camera, somebody would think you're probably going to put the camera down and slide into the ring at one point, you know or
Yeah.
like, we can't have you be a referee, and then like you're standing over the other two guys in the ring, so like, they always had to give me, for me, it was always like, let's give him a job where he can, like, we know, like, it fits him,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
I loved commentary. I love doing security. From commentary, I've always tried to imagine being Jerry the King Lawler. I've always loved the way he was growing up. I love how he always backed up the heels and everything. Like, always arguing with JR. Like, I love them, and I've always loved Taz and Michael Cole on SmackDown. Like that, like those were guys I took inspiration from.
Commentary.
Yeah, when
Go ahead, Toddy.
no, you're absolutely right. King and JR were always the greatest, and when he left, I didn't think it would be possible, but I really did get behind Michael Cole and Taz. So those were some great names, but King just made it for me, especially when he was making fun of Moolah and Mae Young. Oh my God, the things that man used to say.
Dude, Stu Hart. Go back to when he and Brett were feuding in like 94. He would not let Stu Hart off without anything. It was fantastic. And when you talk about commentary, what I dig about that, and I truly think that, like, you should want to do commentary. And I'm going to tell you why. And again, from my perspective, I can see you in the ring and I see 2 wrestlers, or I'm watching a tag match, but they're only in front of my eyes for 8 to 12 to 14 minutes at any given point in time. Who's that voice that you hear every match from the start of the show to the end of the show? It's your commentators. You're the voice of what you're painting the picture, and you're the voice. You're there in every segment, minus pre-tapes or backstage vignettes, but you're there. You are the guy or the girl that is making that happen, and that is such an interesting facet that a lot of people may not really take mention of or even think about from that perspective, because you're there. You're every match, every show. I think that's great. I haven't heard your commentary, but now I want to.
I believe if you go back to, I know it was a show we did last year. I think it was last year for, I want to say it might have been Championship Chaos, possibly. I think it was last year for Championship Chaos. I think that was the one where I had done commentary. It was me and Max Danziger.
Okay. Before we go any further, verbatim, tell the champ Berrako that Sebi's in the chat. I'm not sure who Sebi is, but they are in the chat and they said hello to the champ. So obviously somebody you know. Well, welcome to the show, Sebi. We're glad you're here.
It's my boy Sebi, man. It's my boy Sebi.
Hey, we're appreciative of you showing up, brother, and showing some support for the man, Berrako. When you are, I mean, I think I'm correct by this, and if I'm wrong, obviously correct me. When you're going through training, I don't know if the greenlit program was quite a thing yet, uh, but I think you were a part of the first class that came out of the HOC to start doing the television, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong there?
I was. The school itself was founded in 2023 of May, and then um, it's been in talks a few months before the beginning of 2024, where they wanted to create this environment where we can get our names out there and kind of like help us build a foundation for us to grow off of. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
Nick, Renee, and Keikoa, like they're just awesome. I wouldn't even say coaches, just people in general, like the
Mm-hmm.
minds that they have for the business and understanding that like where it is when you have to start is it's difficult for a lot of people, especially back when they were starting. So they've
Oh yeah.
helped us build this foundation of let's get something underneath your feet. That way you're not running, on just bare stand and stuff like that. Let's get a pavement built. That way you have something to run on, you know?
Facts.
And the first show we did was in January of 2024. I missed that show just because I had gotten a concussion, and then
How dare you?
I missed the first two shows. Right, I missed the first two shows, but then I went to their first premium live event, which was Tournament of Champions.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one where we decided let's have a tournament and let's try to crown our first HOC heavyweight champion, and it was yours truly who won the belt.
That's right. There can only be one first of anything. And this is
That's
a
right.
whole topic of conversation because I do want to talk about this process for you and what that really looks like. We had the honor and privilege of sitting down with Ivy Mercer several months ago, well, a month or two ago, right after she won the women's championship. And I like reiterated to her, there can only be one first of anything. There can be one first championship match. There can only be one first set of people who are competing for it. And there can only be one first winner of that. And that's not to be taken lightly. And that's not to be taken and just kind of cast to the side. I really want to know how you're feeling and what happens when this conversation takes place where, hey man, we're tapping you. You're gonna be the first HOC heavyweight champion because they're the thing with Keikoa and Jamie Stanley, Renee, Bobby Fish. They are building a fantastic platform here, and it's truly one that's changing the game. And I think that there's a lot more coming with the HOC. So to be the first, and there's the possibilities of franchising out and stuff of that nature. If there's a second branch or a third branch, it will all track back to Orlando, Florida. And by the way, in the record books, Berrako is the first ever heavyweight champion. So I want to hear from your perspective on how this process came about, what you were feeling, and then when it happened. I remember my first. I'm really curious to hear about yours.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you. Shout out to also Bobby Fish. He's also been a great mentor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even besides being a coach, awesome human being. Amazing person. And Akris Viso. He's probably gonna hate that I mentioned him like that, but anybody who's watching this, tag Akris Viso.
Tell them that Berrako sent you.
That's right. But as far as getting into the how we structured that match and how we structured getting the first HOC heavyweight champion, it was something to where we all sat down, everybody who was able to do matches, because the way our curriculum works is I tend to think of it as a stoplight. There's a red light, yellow light, and a green light system.
Mm-hmm.
Red light means you're still going through your training. Like you're not at that point yet where you can like get into a match. Doesn't mean you're not going to get there. You're just not there right now. Yellow means, okay, we can put you around in our shows, under certain circumstances, depending on who you're in the ring with. Like you're at that level now where you're a good listener. We can start putting you in with more advanced people. And then of course, green lit means, it's time for you to spread your wings and soar on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and show the world what you're made of. When we were sitting down, mind you, this is a lot of great talent that, like, now when I look at how far they've come from that moment to now, it's just remarkable. I mean, guys like Reese, Chuck, Patty, George, Ennis,
Oh, fuck that guy.
you know, guys like Mo, like, like they're, this is Armando Espana, the metal. Like, these are all guys that, like, now when you look at their careers, like, they've already made names for themselves, but this is at a point where we're all trying to make a name for ourselves, and we're all sitting down, and this is like the start of our origin right here. The setup to the match was kind of something where we needed a baby face, and of course we needed a heel. Patty was beloved. Like, I mean, when it comes to anybody I've ever been in the ring with, Patty just naturally has this aura. When he comes out, he instantly gets cheered. He honestly has a connection with the crowd that a lot of people, you don't really see from a lot of other people, And his was so organic. Everybody thinks that he's doing these things and these moves just to try to get over with the crowd, but this is just naturally who he is as a person. And when you talk to him outside of the ring, he's naturally just organically a lovable guy. And we took him and we had to think, okay, every story needs a mountain to climb. So how are we going to give this young, heart full of fight babyface a mountain to climb? And then everybody looked across the room, and then they looked directly at me, and I'm like, okay. They're like, we have a mountain sitting right over there, And I just organically, even when we do like promo nights, like we practice our promos and how we talk on the microphone, I organically always got booed coming to the ring, but I love it, Like, some people hate it, some people want to be cheered. I like to be booed. I finesse in it, I ooze in it. I'm like, yes, like, it's like I was saying earlier, getting booed is better than getting crickets, And, like, I just feel like there's just something special about getting booed, to where it's like, okay, like, I know people are paying attention to me,
I know that all too well. I was never a babyface. I was never a good guy. I can't do it, because, again, I say people can see through fake, and it's not that I'm a bad guy by any means, but I have no problems in saying how I feel. And sometimes that can rub people the wrong way. But for me, it's more like, I would just rather where I stand than not. And it just made it easier for me to, just lean into that. And I made some really good money for the time that I was in the business off of it. So it's and you being a heel is fantastic, because that's exactly the role you should be in right now, in my opinion. Take that for what it's worth, guys. Men, don't shoot the messenger. But I think that you would make a much better heel than a babyface, and a lot of it has to do with your look, and it has to do when you come out through that curtain. Like, you are it's almost like a stone cold. I'm not gonna say a stone cold killer, but, like, you have that aura of legitimacy, like, believability. I feel like when I see you come through that curtain, that you are coming to fuck somebody's world up, and that is very good. Like, that is a good trait to have, and it's a perfect segue to and when I ask this question, Toddy, I want you to follow up. With the character of Berrako, where does that come in line with you, and how do you guys start putting that together? Because, again, you said you gotta, with a good babyface, he's gotta have that mountain to climb. What did the character work look like for you in building Berrako?
So for me, I've always looked at it to where I always have to look at myself in a size perspective, who I'm standing in the ring with, And it's one of those, a lot of people, we're always taught people are going to see with their eyes as soon as you step into the ring. The first thing they're looking at is when you're coming through that curtain, and when you and your opponent are looking each other in the eyes. It's no secret you can't hide height difference.
Mm-mm.
So I've always looked at it in a sense, for me, in my career so far, I've always been bigger than most of my opponents. So I've always had to feed off of that. And if I'm bigger than my opponents, that's something to where it's like I need to be that heel to be. I need to get the crowd behind the babyface. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I need to be that heel that I need to be the guy who's going to push this guy to his limits to where they have no choice but I'm terribly fearing for this guy's life. So I want to stand behind him, you know?
Yes.
I remember watching
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I remember watching just recently. I can't remember how long ago it was posted, but I like to watch a lot of like podcasts with like all the best heels in WWE. And I remember Triple H was saying in one of his podcasts where he was saying that there was a time where Rock and Austin were coming up in the business, but they didn't have any good heels. They didn't have a major heel to step into that role. He was still a part of DX, and then he was telling, creative, hey, you got to take me out of DX. You got to, like, I know I can be this heel. Austin's white hot. Rock is on his way up. You can tell he's so charismatic. He's going to be a babyface. You need that heel to help build these baby faces to become those megastars. And I've always wanted to be that character to where I look at Berrako and he's that guy, Like I need to be that larger than life heel to where when I step in the ring with the baby face, I want to put them in the position to elevate themselves to levels they haven't reached,
Well, you are quite good at it, sir, because let me start this because I do have a bone to pick with you, and I have not let this go since December.
Oh shit.
Um, and
Here we go.
also, I am safely on this side of the camera, so you can't reach out and touch me. You are very good at playing the heel because when I first saw you, um, I am a women's wrestling connoisseur. Like everything about women in wrestling, it just resonates to me. And you, sir, interrupted the announcement for the first HOC Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And um, as a person, I was like, okay, this is great. As a fan, I hated you for a very long time. I did not forgive you. Every time I saw you, it was like on site.
Oh, yes.
So you are really good at that because not only are you good in the ring, but you're also good on the microphone. And I saw a lot of people in the HOC, you soak up those boos. So during that moment, walk me through what that was like for you because you caught heat for that for quite a while.
I did catch heat. I'm still catching heat from it now. There's always that one woman that yells from the crowd, he's a sexist. Like, you know, I gotta every now and then put them in their place. Hey, you stay quiet, all right? um, but as far as taking that moment, it's just always, it's like I said with being a heel. I feel like being a heel, you got to pick your moments. You got to pick your moments. That I feel like for a heel, it's picking a moment where fans are organically invested. I need to find a moment where it's like, the HOC, the HOC family, the HOC environment, they love their women wrestlers. Okay, like we have women wrestlers like no other. There is a great amount of talent that comes in and out of the HOC in the women's division. So I took it upon myself. Why not get myself a little bit more noticed coming in on their time? I am the first HOC heavyweight champion. If there's going to be any mention of a champion, my name should be involved. And that's where I picked my moment.
You were memorable, for sure. I did not forget who you were.
I heard about that for 3 fucking weeks after the fact, almost every day. In some form or fashion, it's worked into a conversation. And I can't believe that motherfucker said that about the women's division. It's- this is
I got beat up backstage a little bit, but it was okay. It was okay. I was holding my own for a little bit. But the numbers game, they just got to me, like
well, you said something there that I do want to touch on real quick, and I know it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you, but it is the depth of the female talent that we do see coming through the HOC doors. I've been introduced to Jayla Heights. I've been introduced to Dream Girl Ellie. I have been and I am such a fan of Ellie's. Like, I think that this girl is a woman. Excuse me, is fucking phenomenal.
she's a riot.
There is
She is.
there's a massive little influx that's there, and it's truly good to see. And it's good to see that they're getting the same kind of spotlight and the same kind of attention that the men are getting. And it's very easy for, women's, we've seen it, and I don't think I'm saying anything out of line, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to anybody whatsoever, but we have seen where women's wrestling in some places gets pushed to the back. And that's not necessarily fair. That's not necessarily right. And the HOC does that differently there. And I appreciate you pointing out the influx of female talent that comes through the door there, because that is something that maybe it doesn't really get talked about enough, but it is very much present there. And I appreciate you for bringing that up.
And not only have we, I'll tell you right now, when it comes to our women's division, we're only scratching the surface right now. That's it. You've seen just a taste. That's it. Like you've barely gotten an appetizer.
And I'm ready for the main course. I am ready for the main course.
Oh, this is more than a main course. We're going to give you a 5-star gourmet buffet. Like we have a lot coming in these next coming months that our women's division is like. Trust me, we're planning something good.
Now you're just teasing me with a good time. That's not fair. You, sir, again, you come through the HOC. You recently got to get out on the road a little bit. Can we talk about that? Was it when it was how much traveling have you done outside of Florida?
So outside of Florida, I've only been to one other state so far. I just got greenlit back in April, so I was very fortunate enough to get this booking. I'm gonna give a shout out here to Slade Porter.
Yep. Private Eye.
He was the guy that. Yep, Private Eye. He was the guy that he hit me up. He said, "Hey man, I'm going to Illinois. Me and Ennis are gonna head on out there."
Not a fan.
I feel a comment coming. I
said it under my breath. The microphone caught it, but you just didn't hear it. You'll hear it on the episode though.
Oh, okay.
I said fuck.
All right, sounds good. So he got us that booking over in Illinois, and that was Illinois. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And we took that drive out there, and it was really something different to really see like how, wrestling is different amongst the states.
Sure.
I was telling them when I went over there, we wrestled in a low boy ring. So for those of you who don't know what a low boy ring is, it's basically how the ring stands where you see the apron. Imagine that like cut in half, so it's even closer to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something to where it's like I remember first looking at that and I'm like, what is that?
That's not a 20
What's
by
under
20.
There? What do they got under there?
Hornswoggle.
But as far as the talent over there, it was amazing. It was Ignite Pro Wrestling. It was a sold out house. It's also fun to go to a different area where like the crowd is so much more different. I remember going there and I was super tan compared to a lot of the other people on the roster, and instantly I'm getting called Miami boy. They're like, he's look at him. He's like, get out of here, go back to Miami, and I'm like, I don't even live in Miami, like.
No.
But it's it's always fun to see different crowds and see how they react to the character differently. Just because I know everybody like they're gonna see for the first time like, okay, who's this tan big man coming through that curtain? You know.
Well, let me ask
So
you this.
it was
Let me ask you this, and this is literally probably going to be the most serious question I ask you on for the rest of this podcast, and I am 100% when I'm asking you this. So you get this opportunity. First of all, shout out Slade Porter for making that phone call and getting this opportunity to get out there, because that's what this is all about, bro. You've got to get out, and if you don't get out, you're not going to get exposure. You're not going to be able to put your persona in front of new eyeballs. How are they going to react to it, seeing it for the first time? Are you really onto something, or is this because I'm here every week kind of situation? So you're getting all these questions answered in your head, as far as, am I onto something, right? Because you can only do so much within the confines of the HOC. You can only do so much. Some of this is on you to figure out. And I say all that to get to the question, which is 1,000% serious. You get this opportunity. It's a pretty big deal. You get up there. I have to know, what was it like to have to carry Matthew Ennis to a fucking victory?
Oh, honestly, in my opinion, again, I'm glad I got to work with Ennis just because he took all the heat, he took all the bumps. Thank you, Matthew Ennis. We did not pick up a victory. We were very
very unfortunate. For you.
Yes, he lost it for both of us. All right. And Matthew, that's the last time I ever team with somebody like you. All right.
My man.
Now, every time I go to Illinois, I'm going to be known as the guy who lost because of you, Ennis.
Oh, that's so fucking going out there. That is going to make it. Yes. If I wasn't a fan before, I'm a bigger fan now, because now I feel terrible because I set that up for a win and it ended up being a loss. I could have swore he told me I won that match. I did hear that, and for real, now this is all serious. Hey, Lexi, shout out to you. Getting the opportunity to get up there and do this and get your name out there. I heard that you guys made a really good impression. Are there talks of you guys getting another opportunity out there to go back and maybe build a little bit more on what you've already started? What's that look like?
As far as for me, yeah, like Slade Porter Private Eye has definitely hit us up, and he's definitely let us know about the dates and everything going on. So, I mean, as far as wanting to continue something over there, I mean, tag team wise, I don't got the best record in Illinois right now, but as a singles competitor, it's never too late. It's never too late to make an impact.
Well, I want you guys to get out. I want you to get out there specifically because I do feel like you have something there. There is something, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the show. I'm saying that because I watch and edit over 40 hours of wrestling a week on the independent circuit from all over the world, and I say that because we see a lot of different talent, a lot of first-time watches, some a lot of feds that we do go back to. We see a lot of people that come across our screen. And not everybody resonates and not everybody connects. You do. So there is something there. And not just with me. You connect with Toddy. You connect with our other co-host. We think we have 8. It connects with our channel. More importantly, that's the big thing, right? So with you in the ability to connect with people, how did you hone in on that? Or is that something that you've just naturally had? Because that's a big piece of what you're doing, because you have to connect with a brand new audience every week or every month or what have you, especially as you're growing and getting more outside bookings.
Yeah, I mean, as far as connecting and everything, again, I'm going to give a huge shout out to the HOC. All the greenlit guys, all the coaches, the family there, like, have definitely helped me, build this foundation that I can start working over. And then it's just always being taught, when you walk into a room, you shake everybody's hand. You treat everybody the same. You smile, you know, you treat everybody with kindness, and kindness will eventually come right back to you. You're always wanting to be the first guy in and the last guy out. That's just the kind of motto I've always tried to be, you know, even if I'm not on the show. Just this past weekend, we had the ID program. I wasn't on the show, but it's okay though. You know, you stay the whole time. You get there when they start. You leave after everybody else leaves, and it's stuff like that that people. I feel like a lot of people think that it's a waste of their time, but it's just you never know who's truthfully watching. You know,
Mhm.
like sometimes the right person is always going to be watching. Like, you know, that guy stood here the entire show, even though he didn't have a match. Let me go have a chat with him. You know.
Facts. Now, see, I'm glad you brought that up about the ID showcase show, and it's fantastic that you took part in the seminar and that you were there and that you were in the running for a couple of the positions that were on the card and that were available. But here's what I admire is the mentality. I wasn't picked, but I'm here. And I stayed the entire show. It's easy to say, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here now, but you hung out there, and you're correct, because people are always watching, and you don't know who's the next to potentially be able to change your life in some form or fashion. To know that you have that mentality is great, because you're still young and you still have such a long career ahead of you that is going to be profitable, and it's going to be really good to sit back and watch. Toddy, let me come around to you. Go ahead.
You actually just reminded me of something, which I haven't even shared this with Chris.
Ooh.
So social media, I I try to learn things and teach everybody in our group the things that I learn. Um, you, when I first started watching the HOC, right? You weren't really posting that often. And I thought to myself, I was like, I keep trying because I've said it on different broadcasts that I don't like this guy. And I'm posting everybody else's stuff. I don't want him to think that I am intentionally not posting his stuff. So I would like every day literally go and like, did he post something? Did he post something? The first time you did, like it's like I'm sharing this like right now because I swear I am not ignoring him. But when you do post on social media, like it counts and it stands out and it further develops everything that you have going on. And I love how you push what everybody else has going on. And I can definitely see all of the work of Coach Renee there, and you got that down to a science too. So like, there's that total package when it comes to all of that. But tell me about that side of things for you, because I swear I wasn't ignoring you. So whether you
He
knew
was
it was
totally
happening or
ignoring
not, I
you.
was like, shit,
It was
I
it
was
was it
not.
was total. It was on fucking purpose, bro. Don't buy
I
that.
felt it. I felt it.
Thank you.
I was getting cold sweats, feeling the ignorance. I was like, something's happening. But as far as social media, I mean, big shout out to HOC Mama Renee. Um, by the way, who probably has one of the hardest slaps in the business for anybody
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't know. Um, you know,
I was there.
I just
I,
got my
I
I just
appreciated
got some
that.
hearing back in this ear for like about a week ago. You know, the fuzziness finally started to go away. But
Well,
as
see,
far as the social media,
no,
go
but
ahead.
no, but I don't want to step on you for. Yeah, go ahead and answer the question, because I have a Mama Hawk question next.
As far as the social media aspect, yeah, I was a little nervous at first just because I wanted to get a little bit more exposure in the ring and everything, just to kind of like give people a little bit more to see, you know, so that way I can like, because I was even myself when you're coming up with a certain character, I mean, excuse me, you don't really always have a broad idea of who you really are. You know, it takes a moment, like, you know, you got to step in the ring a little bit, cut a few promos, see what comes naturally and organically, and then, you know, as I said, a lot of the heel stuff, a lot of the the being the bigger opponent and being more of like a powerhouse superstar, that's just kind of been coming to me organically. So that's why I'm like, let me post what's more organic versus, you know, because I feel like that's what's really going to resonate more with social media and anybody who follows me. You know, like
Yeah.
that's definitely gonna it's definitely gonna touch home a lot more.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
I can see that.
Oh, Jinx, you owe me a soda. Uh, what were you gonna say, Toddy?
No, I was gonna say I could see that, and it's interesting to hear you say that because, like, and again, not just because you're here, it is on YouTube. It's like you're a natural when you have that microphone in your hands and you're out there and you're doing your thing. And I've wondered, like, what is this guy's like pre-match ritual? Because, like, for me, music. Whatever I'm getting ready to do, there's always some song or something that gets me in the mood to do like whatever. But you truly are a natural when you get out there on the mic, or even when you don't have the mic. Just your facial expressions alone, um, it tells such a wonderful story. And so that's what I meant when you do post on there, it counts. Like it really
Mhm.
counts. It makes a difference.
That might be me being I might be slightly crazy, maybe. I mean, in order to be a wrestler,
You gotta
to
be,
be in this industry, I mean, we're all a little crazy, you know. So,
bro. 40 hours a week on top of 45 hours a week on the real job for free. Yes, we're crazy. It's it's facts. But I do have a question. I'm probably gonna stir the pot here. And I think I know I'm gonna stir the pot when I ask the question. What do you think the HOC's policy is on a general manager slapping a talent in the middle of a match and getting away with it scot free, costing said opponent? And this opponent, we'll just call it what it is, Berrako, a match against Jamie Stanley. What's the HOC stance against on that? Just curious.
I don't know how the HOC does business. I don't know how they think they can get a victory over me and think that I'm just gonna let something like that slide. But I will let you know these next couple months. I've had my eye on Jamie Stanley. You know, I know where he's at. I know what he's been doing, and you know what? I'm picking my moment. Trust me.
Ooh.
I'm eating away right now at the chops. I'm literally buying my time. You know, because I pick my moments very very wisely, and I'm gonna pick my moment very very wisely. So
I was just
if you're
curious.
watching Jamie Stanley, just know I got my eye on you. I didn't forget about what happened, and your wife Renee isn't going to be able to help you out either.
Oh,
So keep that in mind.
mm, mm. Yes, fighting words right there. That's the man. That came straight from Berrako. Uh, let me ask you this. And we've talked an awful lot about wrestling. We've talked about you. We've talked about your career thus far. You're a couple of years deep. You truly have the world in front of you. When you're out here, or not necessarily out here, you've got training. You've got the real world. You've got the real job. You've got other things that you've got going on in life in general. How do you relax though? What's something that you like to do for you just to decompress and let everything else go and just kind of hang out? What do you like to do?
To decompress, honestly, I've been working out for so long. I feel like some people feel like they need to work out in order to be a wrestler. For me, that's kind of just like my decompression. You know, like I enjoy those moments where I can just kind of just tune in, get on my headphones and just unplug away from the real world, just get underneath the weight, any type of rage or frustration or like anything, personal going on in my life. I can pretend like the weights are the enemy and I can just literally just, go for that new PR. That's always something that, I've always found very decompressing, But aside from the gym, I mean, I have a lovely woman that I love to hang out with them and, go try new places to eat, like I always try to think to myself, like I always refer to podcasts a lot, and like, like I'm sorry if I keep doing that, but I remember John Cena had said on a podcast before, like that there's only so much time in a day, especially with what we do. You have your wrestling training, you have your actual workouts, then you have your personal life. Like you gotta have that time to go be a human. You gotta have a time to go enjoy life for what it is, and for me, it's just grabbing my woman and just going to go get something to eat, or even if we just like sit back and watch a movie. We just saw Superman. We're getting ready to watch Fantastic Four this weekend, which I'm super excited about. So that's kind of just any way where I can just kind of just put my phone away for a little bit, kind of just focus on what's actually going on around me.
I feel you, man. I wish I could put my phone down. My phone tends to go off more now than it has in 43. Excuse me. Ooh, dated myself. 43 coming up. In 42 years, my phone goes off more now than it's ever gone off ever. And it's a nonstop thing. So I feel you on what I do is I just cut my ringer off. go set it down somewhere and come back to it. I dig the fact too that you dropped Fantastic Four, so I do need to ask, because we have had many guys have come on the show that dig the comic book side of the equation. Are you a comic book guy too? Is that fair to say, or just a comic book movie guy? What's that look like?
Oh man, I love superheroes and everything. I love, like, a lot of my character I try to based off of the Punisher. Like, I love everything that the Punisher is. Like, I feel like that character is so dark, and yet he's still one of those characters that he's very human. He's somebody who is like, he's had so much taken away from him, and like he's showing you what the outcome of that is. From the Marvel side, I really do love Frank Castle, and I love the guy who plays Frank Castle. I'm drawing blanks on names. I'm so sorry, but like the
Thomas
Netflix
Jane.
series.
Oh, yes. You're talking about the series. I'm talking about the movies.
Yeah.
The series?
No, the series. The movies are good too, but the series.
Okay, no,
I mean,
it's not Thomas Jane in the series. So, God, don't send
that
hate
was
tweets.
that is a phenomenal TV show for anybody who's looking to go out and watch something. Fantastic. And then from the DC aspect, I do love DC a little bit more. I do like their characters a lot better. I like their animated movies and their comic books. I like to get more in depth with them. And I mean, I do love Batman. I love Batman, the whole Bat family, Nightwing, Robin. For me, out of everybody, Red Hood is somebody that I stand behind 100%. That's a character that I truly love. Yeah. Jason Todd is, in my opinion, anybody can argue with me about it in the chats, Jason Todd's the best Robin. So
I feel like I can forgive you now because of this comic book revelation. All right, you're back in my good graces.
For now.
For now.
I was gonna say, don't make another nasty women's championship comment, and you'll be okay. Toddy, well, you got some stuff in chat. Let's hit that, and then we'll get back to a couple more questions.
Yes, there is a comment from Sebi a little earlier. He says, as tough as the business is and making a name for yourself, I'm pretty sure all wrestlers look back on the beginnings as the best part. Privileged to get to witness the champ on his own beginning. And he says it's John Bernthal.
That was
who
the
played
Punisher.
Punisher.
Yes, that was the TV
Yeah.
series.
Yes,
person.
there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Walking Dead's where I go with him. That was the.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
Well, to be fair, there were so many different people who have played the Punisher. It's easy to get that confused.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you
like
this.
the original one in 2004. That was an amazing movie too.
I
was
liked the original. It was such I was shocked by that one. It was better than I thought it was going to be, and that usually doesn't happen in film.
You have John Travolta as the antagonist. You couldn't have picked a better person. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Travolta in Swordfish is one of the best fucking villains of all time. All cinema. I'm not kidding. And if you don't know what Swordfish is, guys, stop sleeping on it. Go watch it. It's an older film. You won't be disappointed. You'll thank me later. He was fantastic in that movie.
One of the things that you said that I'm so glad that you said it, because sometimes, when comic book people get together, we argue about a lot of things, but DC has the formula down for the animated movies, more so than Marvel. I like the Marvel live action movies better than I like their animated ones. So I'm so glad that you said that, because now I can go back and say, hey, this guy agrees with you, and he can beat you up if you don't, accept it now.
Hey, I'm handing out choke slams. You know, they're all parking tickets. Everybody can get one.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. But
But
Berrako, this is we when we do these conversations, man, like we know coming in that we're just scratching the surface, and we kind of do that by design. Is ultimately I want our doors to be open and for you to come back and chat with us, a little bit down the line, so we can catch up and see what you've got going on and what's happened since. And I'm privy to some information. We are going to be at the HOC in August for the next PLE, and then we're going to go to the one in December too.
whoa,
If I don't see you punch Jamie Stanley in the face at some point at one of those two shows, I just got to see it live and in person. I'm gonna be very upset. So can you at
oh,
least pick?
punch is an understatement. Punch is an understatement. I'm gonna turn him from a blonde back to a brunette. So
Oh, I
yeah,
like it. Shots fired right here at
he's
TC
done. He's
Podcast.
done when I get my hands on him.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I always ask the guys, that come on the show when we start winding things down. In your opinion, from Berrako, who should we be watching? And what I mean by that is like, guys, girls, anybody that you've either been in the ring with, trained with, that's on your radar that you think is hella talented and maybe needs a little spotlight put on.
Right. There's a vast variety of people that I think are truthfully talented. Um, but I'm gonna give you two specific people that I've had my eyes on for, quite some time. As far as a guy who just is always working to become a better human, like in the ring and outside the ring, is Private Eye. I mean, the bookings that this man has, like he's literally like sometimes I don't know how he's processing things in his head. I'm like, you have to be malfunctioning at some point because his schedule is just the love this man has for the business it's incredible. It's so inspirational. Like if you really think you're doing a lot, go check his schedule and you realize you're not doing much at all.
Yeah.
And then another guy who's truthfully talented in and out of the ring, but I just told him this at the ID show, somebody who I truthfully believe is like a remarkable talent. And I wish he would see it the way I see it through my eyes. I'm gonna have to say GMJ. I mean, I've been in the ring with him and he is, aside from being such a great coach and a great friend, I mean, as far as I've been in the ring with him, whether it's training or practice matches, there is nothing he can't do. Like he's so gifted, so agile, so athletic. Like there's just like I feel like with him, for as long as he's been training, I believe about 4 or 5 years, he's just scratching the surface of what he truly knows. Like he did, like the sky isn't even the limit. Like I would say, like he's going to the sun. Like he's literally going all the way out. Like he's truthfully like a remarkable talent.
Okay. Well, I asked
Yeah.
that question because for talents that we're not familiar with, they go on our internal spreadsheets. I know you don't know that we have that, but yeah, you do. For every shows that we do, whether it's a full watch along on an Inside the Indies, or if it's a spotlight, which is 2 hours of spotlighting, one particular piece of talent, or if it's finding companies that are attached to that are booking them, et cetera, et cetera. We will eventually get around to doing a show on them. And when we do, we will refer back to, Berrako's the one who turned you on to us. He's the one that gave us your name. It works two ways because it keeps our door kind of revolving because there's hidden gems everywhere. And we know this because we started by throwing a dart at the wall or a map on the wall, and it hit Australia.
Right.
And that's where we started. And now we've, in 2 years, after failed concepts, not everything works. But if you find the stuff that does work, you can be very successful with whatever you're doing. And that is a way for us to continue building our momentum as a channel too, because we're seeing not only them, we're seeing their opponents, and we're also seeing the companies that they work for. So two names turns into 14, 15 before it's all said and done. And it's people that we haven't seen that are first time watches for us too. In cases of those that we are not familiar with. I am familiar with Slade. I think Slade's great. Love his character. Love the character. It's fantastic. Second question that I've got for you, and this is the $1 million question. This is the guaranteed. It's going to be clipped. It's going to be put out there. It's going to be put into the universe. This is Manifestation 2025 Berrako. If Berrako could get in the ring with anybody, it could be here in the States. It could be internationally. Who are some names of guys and girls that are out there that you might want to get in the ring with?
I mean, I would always love to wrestle the people that train me. So I would love to get in the ring one day with Bobby Fish or Keikoa.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to share the ring with Slade and George as well. I would love to share the ring with a lot of people, to be honest with you. I feel like the list would be too long, but those names are definitely at the top of my list. And then as far as like going up the podium to where like you're talking about like professional league, like WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the major companies, people are going to call me insane. They're going to call me literally crazy, but I have always wanted to share the ring with Brock Lesnar. I feel like that would definitely be, I feel like I would just learn so much from him, even though I'd probably be getting my ass kicked the whole match. I feel like that's just something where it's like, I feel like he's just one of those talents where like when you truthfully see a lot of his good matches, like he's always been somebody that I've kind of like, I always try to like not base myself around, but I definitely always film study him a lot.
The beast incarnate, baby. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
I'm here for it. Toddy, you got it. Let me come around to you. You have any more questions? Anything that you guys wanna bring up? Anything you want to talk about? You've already forgiven
Well,
him
he
for
just said,
hurting your feelings.
I have. I have. I just didn't want to pretend to be nice, but he's worked his way back into my heart, so it's okay. Uh, he said the magic words. He said film study, which, not a lot of people put that part of it in. There's more to just wrestling. There's more to just training for promos. There's more than lifting weights. Film study is a big part of the business. And it definitely shows. And that explains what I alluded to earlier, why the work is so good. Like the body of work is definitely there. And you are somebody that I do enjoy watching, because when you come out, business is about to pick up, and you know that on so many different levels. It really is a pleasure to watch you doing the things that you do. And I believe I even, if it wasn't that December show, it was the very next show, but I remember one of the biggest compliments that I had for the HOC, and you were one of the main reasons why I said it, was I have a hard time picking out who are students here and who's actually been doing this for quite some time. And I meant that with every fiber of my being. And, you were definitely a huge factor in that comment. So I just want to say thank you for everything that you do, because it means the world and you can see it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I've always, a lot of people go into the business because they want to be famous, rich, and like that would of course it's always nice, but I always want to leave a path behind me that shows that like you don't have to be somebody from a special family to do this. You know what I mean? As long as you just have two hands, a heart, you got a brain, and like ears to listen, eyes to see, like the sky's the limit for anybody, you know?
It 100% is. So before we close things out, I like to turn the floor over to you. What would you like to plug? Is there anything that you want to talk about? Is there anything that you want to throw out there?
As far as throwing stuff out there, I do want to throw out that July 24th, you will see me in action. You will see me in a very dominant, aggressive, and ruthless fashion. I'm on a path right now that I found my groove, and I think it's very, very dangerous that I found my groove. And a lot of people are going to regret that I found my groove. A lot of people are going to be scared that I found my groove because they're going to realize there's nothing more dangerous than a focused Berrako. I know what I want. I know what I'm coming for, and I'm not going to rest till I get it.
Oh, please tell me it's Matthew Ennis' world title.
He might be on that list. He could be on that list. He does have something that I want, but you know what?
That is true.
He hasn't given me any problems yet. He hasn't given me any problems yet, so
I can create those for
I'll
you.
leave him alone. I'll leave him alone for now, but you know, he does got something that is still my property.
100%. What else do you want to throw out there?
I love this. I love this podcast. I love everything that you guys are doing. I love that you're allowing us to come on here to not only help build you guys up, but to build the next generation of superstars coming in. You know, because that's just what it's all about. This is just something that we all fell in love with, and we just want to see it continue. We just want to see it keep on going.
It's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get bigger. Independent wrestling is on fire everywhere, every continent. If you would have told me 3 years ago, well, 2 years ago, that somebody on every continent would know who we are, I'd call you a fucking liar. Somebody on every continent knows who we are. And our platform exists because of you guys. And while I appreciate the sentiments and I appreciate what you said, this doesn't exist without you guys getting in the ring and doing what you're doing. It doesn't exist without companies like the HOC who put out shows for us to stumble across, because that's exactly what happened. I pulled up a YouTube. I didn't have a Monday night show, which is our full show watch along. I didn't have one, and I pulled up YouTube. YouTube said, "Oh, by the way, you should probably watch this," and it was an HOC show. I need a show for the night. Here's something here. Let's watch it. That's how we stumbled in. And without all of that, we don't have, we don't have a platform. We don't have an audience to try and put you in front of. We don't have people who come in and legitimately will tell us on a weekly basis that I wouldn't know who this is if I didn't watch this here. I wouldn't know this company existed. I wouldn't know who this guy is or who that girl is, or all this different stuff. That's the win. That's the win. That's why we are here.
Right.
We don't keep a penny of anything we make. We put it right back into the scene. We put it right back into companies. We put it into talents. We put it into anyone who supports us. We support you. No questions asked. And if it's doable, we fucking do it. That's because of you guys. So the thanks goes to you. And I know that was I got my one rant in right there at the very end, Toddy. I got it in. But that's because of you guys. For real. That is all because of y'all. Y'all get out there and you crush it. So the thanks goes to you, sir. And truly, I appreciate you coming in and giving us some time tonight so that we could get to know a little bit more about you and get to know about what makes you tick and gets to see your perspective and you feel your passion for what you're doing, because it's here. It's very evident, and it's very infectious. And I really, really, really want you to come back on the show. That invitation is always there. And look forward to seeing what you do next and what transpires as 2025 continues for you, because it's been very rewarding, and I have a feeling that it's only going to get more rewarding.
I appreciate you. Go ahead.
I have one thing for you. I can tell, and I can see this for you, the same way that you looked at Batista in the ring. Somebody's looking at you that same way, and they're going to continue to look at you that same way. I can see that based on the passion and the heart that you have. So
I appreciate that. That's just what it's all about. Just always inspiring the next generation, whether if they love the fact that I'm hating the crowd or if I'm being loved. Like I do this because I love it, and I want other people to enjoy loving it as much as I do.
And they shall.
And we're all gonna love it, because I tell you right now, the last thing I gotta say is, you guys have no idea what the rest of 2025 has for the HOC, not just for me, but for the other superstars there as well. So all the talent that's coming out of the HOC and coming into the HOC, it's a little bit of a ride from here until now. But that December show, oh, it's we got something big planned for everybody.
I'm in the
That's
loop.
going to be a big one.
I'm in the loop. I'm in the know.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be fan-fucking-tastic. All I'm going to say is y'all deserve it. Everybody deserves it. So
And
I don't
the build up to that, is going to be just as tasty.
It's going to be fantastic. And guys, let me tell you this before we get out of here. The easiest way that you can support independent wrestling or independent wrestlers is by sharing, and subscribing. Berrako's case has been right there on the screen the entire show. Roman_B97. That's all you have to do. Hit the follow button. Share the content. Get it out there, because not only could you be putting his stuff out in front of new eyeballs that may like what they see, and then they follow, and then maybe their friends follow. That's how this works. This is how you get exposure out there for people. Get out there and follow. It doesn't cost you fucking anything, and you probably waste 90% of the time on social media. So just make that happen for us, and we would greatly appreciate that. Berrako, sir, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure of mine, honestly. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. We look forward to having you back for Mr. Berrako. For Toddy Table Ramsey, I am Chris Page, and we will see you next time.